How's she going, boys? Mike here. Welcome back to Grampie's Workshop. I'm glad you dropped in today because I have kind of a little review to do for you today. I don't normally do reviews on my channel, but I thought this one was worthy, so that's why I'm here today doing it for you. Early last spring, Nannie and I decided that we're going to get rid of our wood stove. We burnt wood here for 20 years at the camp. We decided that finally it was getting to be too much for me to look after the wood because I'm getting old. Yeah, you know, anybody who's got wood knows that it's a chore to do your wood, although I love wood heat. It's so romantic and cozy, you know, sitting in the camp in the middle of the winter, 20 below, wind and snow blowing outside, and you're sitting by the nice cozy fire. There's nothing beats it, that's for sure. But it's a lot of work. The camp is dirty because of it, you know, things like that. So anyway, we decided to get rid of our wood stove, and because we don't have access to natural gas here where we live in central Nova Scotia, although there is natural gas in the province, it doesn't come anywhere near us, so I had to go with propane. So we went and bought ourselves a propane heater, and I have a video about my propane heater stove, and I'll put a link to that up here. We like the stove. We've been using the stove now since probably mid-September. It's nice, it's quick, it's easy, it's clean, there's no work. You just push the button on the remote, pop, on she comes. It's fantastic. But one of the things I'm worried about getting propane, because this is really the first time in my life I've ever had propane inside my dwelling where I live. Like, I've used propane before. I've used it for barbecues, camp stoves, outdoor fire pits, you know, torches, propane torches, things like that. I've used propane a lot over the years. Never ever in a dwelling, never had it in a stove in the camp or a hot water heater or anything like that. So this was the first time ever I had an appliance powered by propane burning inside my home. I was nervous. To say the least. I was nervous. You know, you hear all these stories. I know that propane is safe, natural gas is safe. There's no two ways about it. You know, there's absolutely, well, minimal danger. I can't say there's no danger. There's minimal danger from using propane. But because I never used it before, I was nervous. So I was thinking, what can I do to try to check to make sure that I have no propane leaks, because I know that propane has this odor in it. They put this gas or whatever compound in the propane to make it stink so that you can smell gas leaks. So I thought, well, you know, I know that there's that in it, you know, and I know that there's safety checks and check valves, but there's pilot lights and blah, 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 you know, like all this stuff. I was nervous about it. Well, I read about my stove, found out that it's all electronic now, and the pilot light is not on all the time. In fact, there's an igniter that comes on when you start the stove. You can hear the igniter clicking and arcing. That lights the gas, so there's no pilot light. So I knew that wasn't going to be a problem. But I was still nervous about leaks in the camp, and you know, I had visions of the camp exploding someday and burning to the ground, or Nannie and I suffocating from propane gas poisoning or something. You know, I don't know, crazy stuff. I know it's crazy, but nevertheless. Never had them in the camp before. I was nervous. So then one day I was looking at my email, and I get this email from this company, and they're saying they watch my YouTube channel. Hey, thank you very much for doing that. And they say they were impressed with the videos, and they would like me to test one of their products on my YouTube channel. And the company was Toptes. Here's the box and the detector that I have. They sent me this combustible gas leak detector from Toptes. Wanted me to review it on my channel. So I said to them, first of all, I don't normally do these company-sponsored reviews. And they wrote back and said, well, we're not sponsoring you. You know, don't get us wrong. You're not on the payroll. We're going to give you this product for you to test. All right, so I got this Toptes tester for free, and they wanted me to test it. So I said to them, well, if I test it, I'm going to be brutally honest. If it's no damn good, I'm going to say it's no damn good. If it is good, I'm going to say it's good. I'm going to give a good, honest review of a user using this product, if it's any good or not. And I said, I can't guarantee that it's going to be, you know, a positive review. And they said, no, that's fine. Do whatever you want and post it. That was another thing that impressed me about this. He said, and post it, you know, good or bad, we want you to post it. So I said, all right, I'll do it. So anyway, they sent me this Toptes combustible gas leak detector. And I thought this was a sign. Like, the Lord has given me lots of signs lately, with Fiona going through and all, and that Nannie and I weren't hurt. But anyway, he gave me this sign too. Mike, you're worried about gas leak in your house? This company's going to offer you this gas leak detector to make sure your house is safe. So you know, thank you God, and thank you Toptes for sending me this detector. So I've already opened it up. I've used it. We got this detector probably middle of September. I've used it a lot since then because we've been using our stove since the middle of September. So, oops, holding that upside down. So I think I'm qualified now to do a review on this detector. So let's open it up, see what's inside the box. It's not going to be an unboxing because, like I say, I've already used it. It's made in China. Now, that may turn a lot of people off. And to be honest, when I see stuff made in China, I always look at it a little closer. But when I read the instructions, that's usually a good sign. You know, you get something made in China, the instructions come, you may as well toss them in the garbage because the grammar and the English in them is so terrible that it's not understandable lots of times. These instructions are very clear, you know, well written, clear and easily to understand. The grammar in them was good. So anyways, that was a good sign. Instructions, check, that's good. All right, out comes the detector. It's packaged in a nice little box, nice little styrofoamy thing here. It also came with its own batteries, and the batteries were shipped in shrink wrap, so like if there was any danger of the batteries leaking, it certainly wasn't going to damage the detector anyway. So I thought, well, there's a good sign towards quality as well. And then there was also this velvety tote bag for it, you know, so rather than have to put it back in the box or just throw that in your toolbox, maybe have the detector head here damaged or something, they have this nice little tote. It slips in there, and now you can put it in your toolbox. So that was pretty nice. Not that makes a good detector, but so far it's looking good. You know what I'm seeing here, it's looking good. Okay, another thing, the detector, it's hand size. Now when I first put my propane stove in, like I say, I was nervous about leaks. So I was checking about safety of propane in your home, and they were talking about combustible gas leak detectors. And they talked way back when propane was first developed, you know, there was people that were nervous of it because homes were blowing up due to leaks. So what they did was they come up with a combustible. They come up with a combustible gas leak detector. But it was a great big huge thing. You had to be trained how to use it, they were saying. It went on your back, had a big wand on like a hockey stick or something, you know, and you had to sort of wave it. Oh, it was... Anyway, look at this. There's the leak detector right there. You can hold it in your hand. It's a nice size. Fits in your hand nice. Like I've got fat fingers and stubby hands, right? It fits on there pretty good. Another thing I like about this is lots of times you get battery operated devices, and this is battery operated, and you struggle to try to figure out how the battery's going, what polarity, you know, with the orientation of the battery. So these, it's simple. The knob unscrews from the end, and if you're questioning the way the batteries go in, on the back of the detector, it's embossed, not just a stick-on label, like these warning signs on the side, but it's embossed in there, the polarity of the battery. So that'll never go away. So it says positive goes in first, ding, ding, there you go, and you screw this end back on. It does recommend that if you're not going to use the detector for a while, you take the batteries out of it, but nevertheless, they're in there now, so that's good. On the front of the detector, there's 3 buttons. There's a power on button, there's a low scale and a high scale. Now, when I was reading through the instructions, the low scale detects 500 to 1,000 parts per million of combustible gas. The high sensitivity detects 50 to 500 parts per million of combustible gas. So, you know, in the instructions they suggest if you're looking for a leak, turn it on low first, and then when it detects the gas, then it'll start to beep. It emits a beeping sound. Then switch over to the high sensitivity to zero in on where the leak is. All right. Also on the scale, there's a LED bar graph. So that'll light up, says the power's on, it'll say whether you're on high or low range, and then the bar graph will increase as the detectable gas concentration increases. So easy to use, plain to see, it emits a beep, so you can use it like even in the dark. You can hear leaks. You can hear if you have a leak. All right, so what else can I say? Not much. It's nice. So far I'm liking it. So we turn it on. Oh, you have to hold it for a second, I guess. And what it'll do, now it's going through a startup sequence, and what it's doing, when I was reading the instructions, it was explaining this. It's sampling the air around the detector to get a baseline of what a non-combustible atmosphere would be like. So you want to turn this on in a non-combustible atmosphere. So out here in the shop, there's, I've got lots of maybe combustible liquids hanging around somewhere, but generally speaking, this is not a combustible atmosphere. So we'll let that cycle. It takes 30 to 45 seconds for it to zero out. But once it's zeroed out, it works out okay. So while we're waiting for that, be a good time to talk about how good the Habs are doing this season. Oh, the Habs, they rock, eh? All right, there, it just beeped. Okay, so now we're ready to go. And we're on high scale. So high range, that's 50 to 100 parts per million. High means sensitivity, right? High sensitivity and low sensitivity. You change scales just by pushing the button. So we're on low scale now, that's 500 to 1,000 parts per million. High sensitivity, 50 to 100 parts per million. All right, so that's the detector. Pretty nice, I like it. And like I say, I've been using this since September. I used it quite a few times. I haven't detected a leak yet. The camp hasn't burnt down, so that's a good sign. But how do I know if this actually does detect combustible gas? Because it hasn't beeped for me yet, anything I checked. So we have to test it, right? Is it any good? Let's find out. Here I have a propane bottle with the torch on it. Definitely has propane in it. Okay, so now I just had that on, lit it, shut it off. Let's check for a leak. We're going to go on low range first, low sensitivity. So we just hold that head in the front of the nozzle. 5 to 10 seconds maybe. No gas leak there. We'll go on high range. No gas leak there. Is it leaking? Who knows? We never really tested it on gas yet. So let's just crack this open a little tiny bit. There, I can just barely hear the gas. So we go back on low. Oh yeah, there it goes, look at that. And it detects it pretty quick, and it's saying there's a lot of it. So we take it over here and let it reset. Okay, so now we're on high range, but it is still leaking. So I shut this off, wait for this to reset. Also, that beep that you hear, the more concentrated the flammable gas or the combustible gas, the faster the beeps. So now we'll just check and see again. Okay, so this valve works good, it shuts it right off. So that's good. So it does work for detecting leaky propane. Here's another one that I have, brake cleaner. We use that a lot in the shop. It's flammable. It says right here that's flammable. But this is not a gas, but there is an odor comes off it. So I'm just going to check. It's on high scale now. I'm just going to check out here to see if this odor is a flammable or a combustible gas. I guess not. No. All right. So that's good to know. Another thing, just to test this a little bit further, gasoline gives off an odor, and they say that odor is very flammable. So, wow, a lot of gravity in this one, along with the gas. There's a gasoline in here. And because this is a combustible gas detector, let's check and see if it'll detect this. We put it on low range. Oh yeah. We'll just wait for this to clear. So when I put it right in the nozzle here, it detected it. Let's see what happens if we hold it 6 inches above. Nothing there. If we go in high range, so an inch above it. So it is detecting the gas, but it's interesting that like when I'm 6 inches away, it seems to be okay. I can smell the gas, so I guess the beauty of this is if you can smell gas, it's probably, you know, that's an alert to tell you that there's gas in the area. You don't need a gas detector to check that. So this combustible gas leak detector, I think, is good. It's Grampie's Workshop approved. What do I like about it? I like the fact that it's easy to put the batteries in it. It's easy to see the orientation of the batteries. It's easy to hold. It's comfortable in the hand. It's not too heavy, so that it would be tiresome to use. It's not so light that it's flipping around and falling out of your hand all the time. The detector head on it is small enough so you can get into tight places and check for leaks. I can't see why I wouldn't be able to zero in on a leak to determine, is it coming from the valve or is it a line going from the valve or to the valve. Now, I took this in the camp and I used it on my propane heater that's in the camp. I'm not going to go and do that today, but I didn't detect any leaks. But like when I'm talking about the size of this being small enough, you can get right into where the lines are. So I followed the line where it comes in. There's a shut-off valve just in as the line enters the camp. I checked all around the shut-off valve. I followed that gas line right up to where it enters into the stove, and I could check because of this, the shape and size of this detector head, I could get right in close to where the gas line was, and no leaks. I also went on the tanks outside, checked those all around, checked the regulator around the shut-off valve, the overflow, the pop-off valve, everything. Absolutely no sign of leaks. So I think it's good. I like it. I like the fact that it's easy to use and quick and easy to get your hands on it. I think that will really make a big improvement. Whenever I go to get my propane torch now, say when I'm lighting up my my burner for doing my maple syrup, as I turn the gas on from my burner, I can very quickly take this and check around for leaks in the valve. Especially propane tanks outside, you know the valves, it's hard to get them tight sometimes. You can check those valves very easily, I think, with this. It's going to be a good unit. It's going to make me feel a lot better. Being as how I was kind of paranoid about propane in the camp, you know, this gives me a lot of peace of mind. So I like it. Been using it since the middle of September. Well, I used it first of all in September. I used it when I first got it. I tested for leaks in my stove. Then again, probably the middle of October, and then again just yesterday, 1st of November, I checked the stove with this again. Still no leaks. So, you know, it's good because it's so accessible and easy to use. It makes it so that you use it more often. So would I recommend this? Yes, I would. I would buy one of these. Like I say, they're like less than $30. It gives you a lot of peace of mind. Once you have it, you'll discover lots of different ways you can use it. So it's a good deal, $30, good, safe investment to make your home safer and healthier because you're not breathing in propane gas. So that's my thoughts on this combustible gas leak detector. Again, I want to thank Toptes for sending this to me. I sure appreciate that. It came at a perfect timing for me because of just installing the propane stove in the camp. So this is going to be nice. It is nice. I like it. I recommend you get one too. So thanks for watching, folks. Don't forget, stay safe out there. We'll talk to you.